Yeah.
So real quick, I know this is a real a big passion for both of you. This would be the last thing that we touch on, but somebody had wrote in here, and I'd like to know too, as the son of a pastor, both of my granddads was pastors. I come from a family of ministry. Loanne Russian said, why aren't our religious leaders speaking up on this?
It's a great question.
Yes, it is.
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
I know Morgan, he's ready to go at this one.
Oh, Morgan.
Yeah. I have been so disappointed in the religious leaders that have lacked a backbone, have lacked moral clarity, have become so woke in a sense, that have just decided that they are going to, that they no longer look at, from my perspective, our religious leaders compromise with the issue of no fault divorce, and it's been going worse and worse and worse since then. And then we have to try to make ourselves relevant. So we have to try to change our message somehow. It's completely wrong. The religious leaders, the denominations have tried to, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a form of outreach or something, but they have lost the clarity. They've lost moral clarity. They've lost scriptural clarity. It's like they don't read the Bible. It's like somebody said the other night, don't be surprised when the church leaders, don't talk about the sin of homosexuality or something like that, for example, because they no longer talk about sin, period. I mean, you go to church to get a moral speech, to get an uplifting speech. Well, you know what? It used to be they thundered against sin, because you cannot be great if you are allowing evil to tolerate and to continue to grow, tolerating evil and allowing it to sabotage and undermine everything that you're doing. And our church leaders have not seen, when you cause a destruction of the family, you are weakening the church. And there are some of these religious leaders that think, we've got to be in there, we've got to strengthen the kids that have been destroyed. Well, you know what? It was Frederick Douglass who said, what is easier and what's better? Is it better to build strong children or to repair broken men? You should be building strong children. And one of the best ways you do to build strong children is to protect the family. And when you protect the family the way that you should, I've mentioned no fault divorce. That was a great religious compromise. Every religious liberty at this point is on the line due to the issue of no fault divorce. That's my perspective. Because marriage is, and Jeff can maybe speak about this if he wants to, marriage is a religious sacrament to very many people. Why is the church even interfering in an ordinance or a sacrament of the church? And we do not grasp that. So I go on about this all the time.
Yeah. But no, and I love the passion, man. But would you say it's fair to say, much like the family courts have gotten blinded by money, I think that's happened with a lot of our churches as well, especially when it comes to this issue.
There are popularity and financial reasons, indeed, that, it's not always popular to preach the gospel, but that's perhaps why Jesus said, talking about the two different gates, the gate that goes to destruction is wide, the way is broad, but the way in the gate that's leading to life is narrow. And sometimes preaching holiness and preaching against sin is not the most popular message, but it is the most needful message. And we are lying to our people. We are lying to each other if we think that by not telling the truth about evil and wickedness, and then expose, but because only when you know that can you show the right way and the proper way. And we're leading an entire generation astray. I don't know why the church is not speaking about this issue. It's been
the sad part is they could have so much influence.
Yes.
So much influence on these issues. We go every Sunday to pray to God the Father, but when it comes to the father in the home, they are absent. They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, there's a great book you can get called Why Men Don't Like Going to Church, or Why Men Don't Go to Church. Okay.
Yeah.
And he has this exercise in there where he looks at adjectives that are commonly used, for example, to describe Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the adjectives, they're the list of adjectives you would normally use to describe a woman. And that's how he's talked about. That's how Jesus is talked about. Jesus was a badass. Jesus confronted some of the most powerful people on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we use these weird emasculated adjectives about him, talk about him in these weird passive ways. That's the first thing. And I'm going to give you an experience from my church, right? So I'm an Orthodox Christian. I was at a Greek Orthodox church, St. John the Baptist Greek Orthodox Church in Euless, Texas. The rich donors of the church on the church council sided with my ex to transition my son. Straight up. My priest did not excommunicate them. He did not speak against them. He allowed them to they even got to a point where they hired a police officer to follow me around at church in an attempt to drive me away from the church to stop coming. My priest never did anything about it. His name is Father Vasile, and he never did anything about it. On occasion, he spoke up for me, but he allowed these people to run roughshod over the doctrines and teachings of the church.
Yeah.
Finally, the bishop required him to teach 3 sermons, one against transgenderism, one against gay marriage and communing gay people, and one against abortion. And it caused a near riot in the church when he did it. And he's never preached a subsequent sermon on it. So we got real problems in the churches, and I think it might even be worse, guys. I'm thinking at this point that this problem may have originated in the churches. That the weakness and the kind of almost postmodern approach to thinking about theological issues may have been the basis for this change in American society. Because Americans are church-going people, and what happens in their churches, they tend to follow. So the question then is, what do we do about it? Well, it's very simple. If everybody is pissed off because their churches aren't standing up and aren't teaching the true doctrine, well, go start a church. Go start a community church. They don't pay taxes. They're easy to start. Go crank up a church and start teaching the right way and teach people the right way. How about protesting at the churches that are bad, right? How about doing that? Use that billboard strategy, use that meme strategy. How about that? The same. If the churches aren't on our side, they're our enemy,
right?
And we didn't treat them like that. We've been treating them with kid gloves. We need to stop doing that.
And Jeff, what you talked about, the problems originating in the church, I've been listening to a couple of these audio books, Contemporary Theology by Kirk McGregor. And it's very interesting because some of the, if you look at the past, a lot of the knowledge was preserved by the church. But then you have people that, you start getting into whether you get into the Protestant Reformation or whatever it may be. But then as things start to progress more and more and more, there are people that try to think, and some of the people started to think, how do we adapt Christianity to philosophy versus how do we bring philosophy into captivity in a sense to Christian orthodoxy, but how do we change Christian orthodoxy so that it melds better with the current philosophy that we believe in? And then, there's ramifications to some of these things. The teachings of the church have been around for a long time, thousands of years. And to make them relevant, we have to change, in a sense, in their mind, we have to change the teachings to make them relevant to culture. Well, culture should be relevant, should be underneath the submission of the church itself.
Yeah,
does it make sense what I'm saying? That, the philosophy
I remember talking
is causing some problems.
We need to make the teachings of the church relevant to this new crop of young people. And I'm like, no, we don't.
I'm sorry. I lost the sound here for a moment. I thought I was okay. Go ahead.
I said I've had churchmen say we need to make the teachings of the church relevant to this new generation of young people. I'm like, no, we don't.
Right. Absolutely.
We elevate the intellectual and moral capacity of the young to conform to the church teachings.
Right. And that's what I was trying to say. If it wasn't not clear.
Yeah, they have to become relevant. I'm just amplifying what you're saying.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
We need to elevate youth to conform to the church, not the other way around. Unfortunately, that's not happened. And what happened? It was, what was it called? the new church movement, or sometimes called the Vineyard Church movement. The idea was to apply business marketing principles to the running of churches, and that's what they
Right. Yeah. There's a number of things like that.
All right, guys, I'm going to flash this up one more time. This is the website. I put the link down in the comments. Please make sure to go and donate to this. I mean, that might look like a lot, but I'm telling you, it's little, next to nothing when it starts going to these family court battles. And I'm sure this, that you're going to be going a few more times, Jeff. We know it's been going on for a while. Before we get out of here, though, I just want to ask you one more time if there's anything that you'd like to leave everybody with, something that you can leave to these advocates that are listening right now. Tell them whatever you want. Jeff, I'm going to let you close this out.
We always say save James saves thousands of children. James is the tip of the spear. It's the test case. We have to win it for all the other kids. Stay up to date with what's going on with this issue at the Save James page on Facebook. Just go to Facebook and search for Save James. It's a page with 50,000 followers. It's really got a couple 100,000 followers. They push us down. You can follow all kinds of news on this issue and follow it. The admins just do a great job there. You can also click to donate there. But mostly, adopt the attitude that when you're done here, you're going to get together with some people and you're going to talk some treason against this corrupt system.
That's it. All right, brother. Thank you for coming on, and we're right there with you. Everybody, go follow that page. Make sure you get involved, and we'll see you next time.